Hotep, Black Power, giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors. As always, giving honor to my sister, Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, Street Law Soldiers, my father, my in-laws, family members, and comrades who are in the ancestral realm as we speak, and to the brothers and sisters out there, my subscribers, as well as those who are fighting in the liberation and salvation for the black nation. Okay, what I want to talk about today is this situation where yesterday, a 32-year-old Flatbush, Brooklyn, mentally challenged man was shot and killed in his apartment, his mother's house, yesterday by these motherfucking NYPD pigs. And this goes to show, this goes hand in hand with the same incident in October in Brooklyn, where a 66-year-old woman, mentally ill, was shot and killed in her apartment in New York by the NYPD pigs, which are some of the most notorious right-wing, Aryan motherfucking white supremacist pigs on the planet, next to Chicago PD, LAPD, DC PD, and a surrounding county in DC called Prince George's County, where some of the most notorious high-ranked Aryan Brotherhood and Klansmen that are on the police force have inflicted and are still currently inflicting some of the most horrific torture and murders that the surrounding counties in the entire United States has ever seen and ever heard of. And see, once again, we continue to keep calling the motherfucking pigs and calling the white man when we have a disturbance or a situation within the black community. You know, and now the mothers call these motherfucking crackers on their own children, on their own family members, and then when they are murdered, you go into this frenzy of so much painful emotional trauma, but you're the one who set the whole shit up. Mind you, in some cases where law enforcement has to be called, provided that they are monitored by the members of the black community. But however, just picking up the phone, dialing 911 because someone is acting erratic, that has mental health issues, is just trifling, it's lazy, and it's some cowardly post-traumatic slave thinking, once again calling massa when one of the slaves act up or is losing their mind by being a fucking slave. So this shit has to stop. We gotta stop calling this motherfucker. And then this goddamn maniac, white supremacist, AB motherfucking Klansman, Grand Wizard y'all had for a president, who Friday stated at a rally, a police rally, giving them permission to inflict further motherfucking roughness, on supposedly suspects, or anybody that's in handcuffs that's of color. he has given these pigs permission, you know, to inflict more punishment, you know, and justifiable excessive force, you know. But this should be a lesson to people. Stop calling them motherfucking crackers when you have a situation in your own family. That should be an ultimate last resort. And once again, like I said, provided that these motherfucking pigs are being monitored by some strong brothers and sisters in the community that can record this shit, you know, and monitor these motherfuckers. You know, they shot that woman, 66 years old, shot that woman in the chest and murdered her. She died on the spot. The same with the 32-year-old brother yesterday. You know, and I blame the community for this. I totally blame the community for this. Yeah. And I want to give a hotep and a black power and a shout out to the brother Irritated Genie. Last night he does weekly lectures at Everlasting Life for those who live in the Washington D.C. metropolitan area. Everlasting Life is a vegan restaurant on Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland, and he does a lecture every Monday, a free lecture. You know, it only costs that you know, purchase some of the good food in the restaurant next door. You know, and you know, vendors and the like are you know, are there. But last night, you know, the brother Irritated Genie, you know, did a magnificent lecture on, I believe, the state of the black community and what needs to be done for black liberation and salvation. Very, very powerful lecture. You know, and brother Irritated Genie, you know, he went back to Kemet, you know, with a magnificent PowerPoint presentation, and you know, very, very educational, you know, and it's really an open forum, you know, where everybody can voice their opinion and, you know, agree to disagree, and, you know, very, very powerful lecture. So I encourage anyone, if you live in the DMV, you know, to come on out on Mondays, you know, 6 p.m. to Everlasting Life on Central Avenue, Capitol Heights, Maryland, in the same shopping center that the Home Depot is in. And very, very powerful lecture from Irritated Genie, you know, and straight black pride movement, you know, and you know, very, very, very informative. You know, I wanna give that brother his props, you know, because at times we have a tendency to try to just attend these lectures where these quote unquote, these so-called premier scholars, you know, are given, you know, just so you can say you attended and take a picture with somebody, you know what I'm saying, instead of you know, being educated, you know, and understanding and being an active participant in the lecture, you know, because in his group is no big eyes and little U's, you know. So you know, I just wanted to drop that on the people, you know, because once again we have a tendency to just want to attend certain lectures with certain so-called scholars, you know, and you know, not even intending to learn anything, just, you know, for popularity purposes. So you know, we have to move past that type of thinking, you know, and you know, support the you know, because personally to me, everyone is a scholar and a lecturer. You know, I've done several lectures with some of the most, you know, premier scholars of today. However, you know, I'm never above being humble to sit down, you know, and be schooled and educated by anyone. Because anything that I don't know, if you know it, you know, I'm going to humble myself, you know, and be seated and listen so I can learn, you know, whatever it is that I need to learn, that whatever it is that I don't know or I'm struggling having understanding of. So let's just, you know, let's just be clear about some stuff, man. You know, and stop this bullshit, you know, and trying to, you know, put a Hollywood twist on this motherfucking black consciousness, you know, and because it's a turn off to a lot of people, because that's what our people are trying to get away from, all that glitz and glamour bullshit, you know, and try to come and try to find some ways to be liberated. You know, because it's not about who get the most hits on YouTube, who's the most popular, and all of this bullshit. You know, because one day all this shit probably will be cut off and diminished, with the exception of those who, you know, who are agents and buck dancers. You know, that talk conscious. You know. So some of us, we talk black and sleep white. You know, we talk black and sleep with the same sex. You know, all this counterproductive bullshit. So you can personally, you know, get paid or, you know, acquire some notoriety because of your low self-esteem. We don't have time for that. You know, find you a motherfucking group. Or get you a fucking therapist or something to go to if you're that fucked up, you know, if you're that damaged mentally and emotionally where you have to, you know, use the public and the vulnerability of people who are lacking knowledge in certain areas so you can prosper. You know, everybody's not asleep. You know, and if it don't change, I'm going to start calling you motherfuckers out once again. I'm going to start calling you motherfuckers out. It's just that simple. Now, what I want to talk about now is, you know, one of the topics that was discussed last night with Brother Irritated Genie, you know, about what is it going to take for us, you know, to acquire our liberation. You know, one of the things, I injected, you know, my opinion and views based on, you know, historic data, you know, based on experience, you know, based on our predecessors and our warriors that came before us, that we're going to have a military. Yeah, all the schools being built, all that is wonderful. All that is wonderful. The economic situation, you know, economic castration, and all of this stuff sounds, you know, and it's needed. Don't get me wrong, it is needed. But the main thing that is needed, that we keep avoiding, and we make 1,000 goddamn excuses for, is a fucking military. A fucking military regime. And if you look in the annals of history, you will find that everyone that acquired liberation and freedom from bondage, from colonialism, and this motherfucking Aryan imperialism, it came down to motherfuckers fighting and war. You know, and that's the bottom line. Now, our ancestors, they knew in their hearts, Harriet Tubman and the like, because it was more than one Harriet Tubman. Let's not get it twisted. It's those that you don't hear about. Just like in the so-called conscious community and in the black community, there are those committed warriors that are 100% committed that you never even heard about or don't even know exist. But they are more committed than the people that you have heard about, and these people that supposedly be the premier motherfucking scholars and lecturers and warriors. But nevertheless, You know, our predecessors during physical and chattel slavery, they knew that 9 times out of 10, they were not going to witness the liberation of their people in that era. Knowing that, they still gave their lives and fought and laid the foundation down for the following upcoming generations to pick up the torch and carry the legacy of liberation. They knew this, and they still gave their lives, you know, for us to even be here today speaking about this. Now, people today think that they want to see their liberation, which is nothing wrong with that. However, you have to understand, you have to be willing to lay your life down for the generations that are coming. We may not see black liberation. We may not see this. We may not witness black liberation. But that doesn't mean we're not supposed to continue the legacy and continue to lay the foundation down so the people coming after us can continue. And the only way we're going to get liberation is through war. You have to come to the conclusion and understanding that when you go out to war, that you probably will not be coming back. And see, every other race of people had that same concept and were martyred and respected for laying their lives down for the liberation of their children, grandchildren, and beyond. We're the only ones that are not willing to fight. We're the most hated people on the planet. We don't have anything. We're the bottom of everything. We're at the bottom of the barrel on everything. And we still under religion. Religion has got us so fucking pussified and soft and so goddamn soft that we're looking for every other excuse to go around war when war is inevitable. And see, this colonial imperialism, religious doctrine, Christianity teaches you to turn the other cheek, that go ahead and suffer in bondage. Cause you have a lot of niggas that say, thank God for slavery. You know, a loving God would never impose slavery on any of his people, any of its people. That don't make sense. And y'all reading the Bible that God said we gonna be in the land for 400 years being in bondage, rape, pillage, and all this shit, and lynch and all, and we're supposed to be okay with that shit because one day we're going to be free. I mean, do you see the insanity in the motherfuckers who wrote this shit? Because it wasn't inspired by no creator and God. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You know, the bottom line is war is inevitable. That's the only way we're going to get our liberation. You can talk all the shit you want. You can hold all these little news talk shows. And I see a lot of you doing that. Some of you are lesbians. Some of you are fags. You know, and you hold these motherfucking talk shows on social media talking this bullshit. You know, but you're not going to, but you're encouraging people, you know, to avoid going head on with this cracker. Cause, you know, we already know who the devil is. We already know our natural enemy. The point is, what are you going to do about it? How much do you love your people that you're willing to lay your life down for your children, your grandchildren, and beyond, for their freedom. How dedicated are you to the motherfucking struggle? Because a lot of y'all talk some good motherfucking shit, but when it comes to picking up a weapon, you know, you come up with 1,000 goddamn excuses. You know, you make up so much, then you start talking this philosophy and all this old motherfucking off the wall bullshit. You know, every time it comes to war, and then you look at people that talk about going to war like they're wrong. You know, you're not supposed to do that. We can beat them with books. We've tried everything for 500 years and it hasn't worked. The white man, the cracker, and he's the devil. Not a devil, but the devil. Just like Dr. Collins said. You know, and he shows you how much he hates you every day. He blows you away. Police terrorism, you know, starvation, drug addiction, black on black violence. They put the guns, they put the drugs in the community. You living in substandard motherfucking living conditions, deplorable housing, lack of education. Your children are being miseducated. They're being militarized. They're being sexualized. And you are okay with this bullshit. As long as you can watch the game, as long as you got something to wear, as long as you got something to drive, as long as you got something to eat. And then you run and go and pray to a white mother, the same motherfucker that enslaved you. You pray to him and ask for goddamn liberation. We're gonna have to wake up, stop acting like cowards. The only time you don't act like a coward is when you're dealing with somebody that looks like you. Oh, you ain't got no problem going in a motherfucker's comment box talking some old gangster shit. You ain't got no problem on the street with somebody that look like you, pulling your motherfucking pistol out on them, pistol whipping people, beating up people that look like you, raping people that looking like you, molesting children that look like you. But when it comes to that motherfucking cracker, it's a whole nother motherfucking ball game. A whole nother ball game. Now you want to pray. Now you want to go to the imam. Now you want to go to the temple. You want to do all this bullshit when it comes to dealing with the devil. This white motherfucker. This white motherfucking cracker. Nobody wants to stand up in his face, in the devil's face. But then you want somebody to read a book. You want somebody to you know, to soften that motherfucker's heart up, making him seem like he's out of order. It's happened the same way with Nat Turner. A lot of them niggas did the same shit to him. Ran, hid behind sheds and all this shit when he was fighting. It's the same shit. You know, and then y'all want to sit back and critique and criticize other people on social media. You know, it's one motherfucker, he dressed like a motherfucking white Jew, necktie, big ass black hat on, looking like a rabbi, and all he does is criticize the black struggle every motherfucking day. Because a lot of us don't want to be black. A lot of us have a gigantic white man inside of them. Based on your behavior, based on the way you view shit, based on the way you always diluting your the warrior in you, you know, and you know it's evident. It's evident. You know, it's inevitable. You know, and we have to start teaching the babies about war. Every race of people, they teach, when the Asians, the Japanese and Chinese, when they're in school, they teach their babies about their culture. They teach them about their history. They teach them about who their warriors were, who their kings were, who reigned, how they acquired their liberation, who's responsible for their freedom today. Every other race of people does that except us. We teach our babies, you know, who was pacified, who was soft, you know, how to twerk and all this bullshit, you know, at these little, excuse me, they have these little assemblies and these little dance contests, you know, and have these little babies, you know, nothing in their heads are empty, you know, and teaching them how to be cheerleaders, dance moms, and all this bullshit, you know, grow up, you know, as long as you got a good shape and a nice figure and a cute face, you can make it. You know, LA, you know, they're housewives of Atlanta and all that bullshit. With the exploitation of our queens. They pay them to pull each other's weaves out. Fighting. Throwing alcohol on one another. Sleeping with different athletes and all this bullshit. Sleeping with each other. You know, and we teach, you know, this is the example that our babies have to go on. And then, you know, you wonder why they become, wonder why the boys become cowards. They don't want to fight. They're disrespectful to their mothers. They're disrespectful and have no respect for any black queen. Based on the fact of the exploitation of our black women. You know, and it's your fault. And it's your fault. You get on social media, you know, and you talk around everything except teaching these young boys, you know, how to exercise, how to be fit. You know, put that microphone down. Fuck being a rapper. Put that basketball down. Put that fucking football down. You were born out of the womb athletic, so that doesn't need to be proven. We got too many empty-headed motherfuckers now in sports. Teach them what law is. Give them a Black's Law dictionary. Teach these babies. Teach them who the real heroes was. Stop doing the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X shit all the motherfucking time. And the Frederick Douglass shit. You know, it's nothing against them. But it's thousands and thousands of more warriors that have put far more work in than they had. But they're not being taught that because that will develop a warriorism, the warrior energy, enhance the warrior energy in them. So it's up to the black community, it's up to us to teach our babies. And we're not doing it. Because we're teaching them the easy way out. You know, it's okay to be a fucking faggot. You know, it's okay to, you know, to be a dyke. You know, because Jesus loves you. You know, and all that bullshit. You know, and at the same time, we as a race of people, we are dying by the fucking minute. You know, and it's time for us to wake up. It's just that time. You know, once again, I like to thank the brother Irritated Genie. Thank the brother Irritated Genie for, you know, an awesome lecture yesterday. You know, and that you know, I encourage you all to attend these lectures. I'm going to be coming back at you all with some more news, some more information, you know, but in closing, you know, this is the, I'm telling you, this is the only route out of bondage, out of poverty, out of drug addiction, out of black on black crime, out of economic castration, out of spiritual castration, out of religious bondage. This is the, you know, war is the only way out. Freedom is not given. Freedom is won. Just think, we've tried everything else. Everything else. We've been ineffective, and unsuccessful. Because the cracker doesn't respect none of those, nothing else but war. Nothing else but war. And we have to get in war mode 24/7. Like the great ancestor Gil Scott Heron said, the revolution will not be televised, goddammit. If stop thinking about yourselves, think about 5 or 6 generations, down the line, when we are long gone. We're not the last people on earth. We're not going to be the last ones. There'll be plenty more. Infinite. Plenty more people. But we have to do our part. Because this is our time. Like the sister said last night in the lecture. The black man, it's our time. It's time. Black power.